Hi, welcome to the PhD Journey. I'm Dr. Sarah Gordon, and I am on episode 24. And I have been working through the last couple weeks reading my poetry that I wrote during the PhD journey. Now, why am I reading you my poetry on this podcast? Because I think that it reflects the journey that I went on to get my doctorate and the things and the feelings that I was experiencing during that journey. And I think they're relatable to life and to for other people when you're going through things in your life. This podcast and my vision for this podcast back in May of 2025 was to talk about mental health and physical health. My PhD is in leadership in health and human performance, which is really a focus on health promotion. And ironically, working on my doctorate for 5 years, I suffered a lot of mental health issues and physical health issues. And I've talked about it on past episodes. And I came out of the program thinking, I would really love to help other people on my podcast. It's a free resource. I just do it honestly just to give back based on my experiences. But I think what touched me the most is that we had lost a classmate during our journey. I didn't know him personally, and I was not in classes with him, but he took his life. And it really deeply affected me, especially being in a doctoral program that focuses on health promotion. And it just shows you how pervasive mental health issues are in our society, and especially how pervasive they are in the academic world. I don't know exactly what was going on in his life. I don't know the whole story, but I carried it in my heart all the way through graduation to even dedicating parts of my dissertation to him. And then wanting to launch this podcast to help other people with their mental health and with their physical health. I just got a sweatshirt in the mail and it just says, "You are enough." And sometimes we don't feel that way for whatever's going on in our life, for maybe people in our life that make us feel that way. And we have to have the strength. We have to have the internal strength to know that we are enough, that our lives do matter, and that there are people out there to help you. Now, I'm not here to give professional advice. I am not a licensed therapist, but I am speaking to you as someone who has life experiences. I've been through great obstacles, not just the PhD journey, and I'm still smiling and I'm still here. And for some reason, when those obstacles come my way, I find strength in them and resilience and courage. And I want that for you, for my listeners of my podcast. Life is always changing. We can't control that. Things that you believe may be going one way, you find out they're not. We don't have control over those things. We only have control over ourselves and how we embrace the things that come our way. If we embrace them with anger or with fear or with peace and love. For me, I choose nature. I choose writing. I choose exercising. I choose things as outlets to manage stress and to manage life. And that's been my message through my poetry these past couple weeks. My poems reflect that, the deep thinker, into the woods, the ocean is calling. Tonight I'm going to read two poems, the lost poem and the little bird song. And each one of these poems reflect what I was going through at that time, what you may be going through at this point in time. So tonight I'm going to share the first poem. It's called The Lost Poem. And like I've shared in past episodes, I've been published in Delaware Bards. It's a collection of poets in our state. And all these books are produced by Local Gems Press. They are available on Amazon. I've seen them in bookstores. I don't get anything from them. I'm just literally honored and humbled to be in them. So this little poem I wrote, I remember it was in 2024. So I'm 4 years in the PhD journey. I remember waking up sound asleep, from a sound sleep in the middle of the night saying, you know what? I need to write this poem. I hadn't written anything creatively in a while. It had been months, and I felt so far away from my poetry. And I wrote this little poem called The Lost Poem. And here we go. It has been so long since I sat with you. Time took me so far away. I've missed our quiet moments with peacefulness and time and space. Windows into the soul, carefully selected and yet free to flow, bringing peace and joy to my heart. A love so deep one can never know. A simple poem, a few words on a page, sometimes meaningful, others there to play. These poems I write are amateur at best, yet to me they represent much more as I try to understand my path and move forward with courage and with strength to write and give you life and put you upon this page. For the lost poem sits here to always remember my old friend, my confidant, poems to write again. And I guess the reason I read this one to you tonight is to ask you, is there something in your life that you love to do that you find yourself far, very far away from? And how do you get yourself back there? How do you take one step? I mean, sometimes that first step is the hardest step. You know, the old saying, the trip of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Whether it's a weight loss journey, whether it's painting, whether it's spending more time with your family, whether it's writing, poetry. How do you take that first step and find your way back to something that you love to do? And that's what that poem represents for me. Sometimes, like I said, that first step, I know for myself, sometimes that's the hardest step to take. In 2024, I also was published in this book called The Walt Whitman 205th Birthday Celebration. And it's kind of a thick book. A lot of poets are in this one. And this poem, let me find it in here. Let's see here. It's on page 88. This poem was a little different. This poem to me represents maybe changes that were going on in my life in 2024. Having to pivot my dissertation topic, just lots of things going on in my personal life. And I wrote this little poem to express how I was feeling and how to find beauty and peace and confidence in change. So I was at the martial arts studio where I trained outside by the bamboo garden. Beautiful setting on a spring day. And I wrote this little poem called The Little Bird Song. So here we go. I heard you this morning as I stood by the bamboo garden in a special place of time and space. I had to quiet my life to hear your beautiful song, a simple melody as I started to sing along. It played throughout the air, your sweet tune resonates for all to enjoy and share. The stillness of my mind and body opened my senses to notice you more. The simple bird song, in perfect harmony, uniquely alone, left to adore. As I listened closely, feelings began to arise, as this little bird's melody, so comforting to my surprise, of loss, of sadness, heartbreaks to endure, reminiscent of times gone by, to mend, to soften, to let go, to cure, like the smile on a loved one's face, lost so long ago, or a voice longing to hear of someone held near. The little bird song, echoing delicately, all so clear. A reminder to be present, love freely of those we hold dear. What a gift it was to listen to this little bird sing. Such joy and happiness this simple song brings. On this beautiful spring day, with all the colors on display, a time of transitions, new beginnings, inevitable change. As the cherry blossoms fade, flower petals dropping too, other trees awakening, buds sprouting to get through, old and new on the same day. The little bird song carrying its tune above it all, unknowingly healing with its sweet rhythmic call. The melody now etched within my mind. When life's challenges come along, I will gently start to sing the little bird song. So, what was going on that year? I lost somebody very dearly to me. Um, I had heard about a classmate, like I mentioned, who had lost his life. I was moved the year, I guess 6 months prior. I had a lot of change. And I think that as humans, we have a lot of change. But what we can do with that change is we can look at it as opportunities to grow, to have a growth mindset, to not fear, to have courage, to help others grow and change, and to really become. I mean, there's this old expression, let me see if I can remember how to say it. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. And I believe that. I believe that changes in your life can be beautiful. And nature shows us that. And it's inevitable. So those are my two poems. I've had people talk to me about how to do this podcast on my own and what the platform and structure should look like. And I am thinking about how to do that. But in the meantime, I'm finding my voice on my own, quite frankly. And I'm starting with poetry and the poetry that I wrote during my PhD journey. And as I move forward, and if you decide to stay with me on this journey, you'll see me grow. And I'm just going to stay true to what I love to do here. Really, that's as simple as it is. My vision was to talk about mental health, was to talk about physical health, was to say that we're more connected than we realize, and that it's so important to know that you are enough. And to listen to me, I guess, based on my experiences. I'm I'm still here and I'm still smiling and I've had a lot. And yeah, I mean it's really not complicated. I look forward to having guests on the show as I move forward. I have about 3 or 4 more poems that I'm going to read on the next couple episodes. And when I get through those, I'll start to have guests on it again. So that's it. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I'm recording on Sunday evening, October 26th. I don't know when you'll get a chance to listen to this. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope whatever comes your way this week, that maybe you think about the lost poem and how do you take steps to get back to something that you love to do that will help you balance what is going on in your life. Maybe it's getting back into the gym to de-stress or take a nature walk or find meditation and journaling or painting or whatever it is. We need these opportunities for our health, for our mental health, to help us get through things in life. I hope my poem, The Little Bird Song, if you've lost a loved one or you're grieving or you're going through some type of changes in your life, I hope you hear a little bird sing out there. And if you do, I hope it gives you hope. I hope it brings some joy to your day. If you happen to hear a little bird sing, maybe it's a sign from somebody saying, you know what, you're doing great. I love you. And you're just a wonderful person. So that's it. That's my message, short and sweet. I wish everybody a blessed week, and I hope you'll continue to stick with me as I read through my poetry. And yeah, maybe it's corny, but it was deeply meaningful to me and helped me get through my PhD journey. And ultimately, this podcast is to help other people working through their doctorates, working through any challenges in your life. Sometimes they seem overwhelming, and you really have to just take it one step at a time. And while you're doing that, don't forget, don't lose yourself in it. Set some boundaries in your life to continue to do the things that are good for your mind and your body. Okay? All right. God bless everybody. I'll see you. Well, I'll probably record something midweek. So I'll see you very soon. All right. Bye bye.